had to write notes on what to say. God. I had to write notes on what not to say because I'd really like to spend about 3 hours with all of you. I really, really would. The field of hypnotherapy. How many newcomers do we have here today into the field of hypnotherapy? Hold a couple. How long have you been involved, man?
About 6 months.
6 months. Who else had a hand up? They're going, not me. Here he comes. 6 months. Who else? Sir, how long? A year. Who else?
4 days.
4 days. You'll be retiring soon.
1 year.
1 year. Who else? Year and a half. Isn't hypnosis just a fantastic profession? I'm telling you what. I like when you're coming new into the field of hypnotherapy and you go into a family reunion or a Christmas party or something like that. How many of you new people have experienced this? Would you hypnotize me? Does it really work? I like the overeducated ones that say, could you hypnose me now? Do me, do me, do me. Have you heard that yet? I can't understand it. A good friend of mine's a proctologist and nobody goes after him and says, do me, do me. Unbelievable. Oh, geez. Well, let's see. I started doing hypnosis back in 1980. For those of you who don't know, I was in a practice, and I worked in a practice with a doctor for about 3 weeks. And I thought, well, this isn't really me. I didn't like the confinement of the office. So I thought, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a program together, and I'm going to go on the road, and I'm going to do hypnosis, non-smoking, weight loss, stress management, and motivation. So the doctor that I was involved with, he said, you just might as well stay here because it's not going to work for you. He said, just stay here and don't go do that. So I think being a stubborn Leo, I took that as a challenge and said, I have to make this thing work. So out on the road I went, and to make a long story short, I was there for 21 years doing conventions between the East Coast and Las Vegas. And yes, it did grow to the point where we had our own bus and our own private airplane. And yes, everybody else can do that too. But the things that I want to talk to you about here today are that in pre-hypnotic techniques, when you're dealing with that many people, I've done over 5,000 group seminars. That's a lot of seminars. We've probably had 175 or 180,000 people in our audiences. So when you're dealing with a massive amount of people, there are pre-hypnotic techniques that you learn that no one could ever, you would never learn, never in a million years learn on your own. Because we're dealing with passive people in an audience, so we've got to be a little dominant, no? We're dealing with dominant people in an audience, so we've got to be a little passive. So you have to make it a non-demanding type of approach in your therapy and in pre-hypnotic techniques. For those of you that are practicing, I don't know how many of you ever ask any of your clients, one of the first things I always asked was, what is your definition of hypnosis? And they go, well, I don't know. You don't have a definition? No. And you came all the way down here to give me $40 and you don't have a definition? No. And then some of the other ones are neat. Sir, what is your definition of hypnosis? Well, I think I'm going to be knocked out, in a trance, in a coma, and under. Under. I asked them, how many of you would happen to know, and ask your clients this,